Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, I have discussed about that pagination. I hope you will understand about it, how you can add the pagination in Laravel 8 project. So now in this video, I want to discuss about this user. And here you can see friend, it's now showing as a user 1, and for the everyone, because of all here, I have created all that category with our this user. So that is the user by default this ID as a 1. Right? So now I want to visible that name. Like if you go to our table, that means there is a user table, and into the user table here you can see there is a ID, there is a one ID. So that is our right now I'm logging with the admin, and for this admin actually ID 1, right? And also if you go to our database again, and into the database if you go to that our categories, and into the categories here I have already declared one of the table as a user ID, right? That is one of the table field as a user ID. So now I want to join two of this table. I want to join our categories table to our this users table, and then I want to match with our two of this field. That means this user ID will be matched with our this category user, that is the user table this ID. Okay, when it should be matched, then I want to get this name. So here you can do that work with both of this way. You can do that work with Eloquent ORM, and also you can do this work with using that query builder. So I will share both of this with you, then everything will be very clear to you. So friend, as I told you, when you working with this Eloquent ORM, then we have to work with a model, right? Like if you go to our project, so right now better I remove everything. Okay, I remove everything, then it should be better. I remove everything and I just make it clean. So right now if you go to our view, that means that is the position I actually declared in our view. That means if you go to our, there is a route will be needed, and then that is our another file, that is our layouts, that is our profile, and into the view area, into the category here I have created one of the index.html, right? And into the index.html here you can see friend, I only display with this category as a user ID field. That means right now this user ID field is visible, right? That is our user ID 1, and for the reasons all that one ID is visible. So now I want to join two of this table. I want to join our this category table to our user. So if you want to do that work with using that Eloquent ORM, then we have to work in our model. That means I have also created one of the model. If you go to our model, and you can see there is a category model. So into the category model here we have to create one of the function. Okay, so I show you like here after this. Okay, after this I want to create one of the function, and I just name that function as a public, and then function, and then public function, and I name it as a user. So whatever you want. So right now I name that method will be as a user method. And after that here I want to create that relation. So if you want to create that relation, it should be was a one-to-one relation. So I want to make this as a return and return this, and after that here I want to add that one-to-one relation. One-to-one relation means it will be as a has one. Okay, that means that will be has one. I name it as a has and then one. Okay friend, and has one relation I want to do, that means there has one of the relation with our user. So that is our user model, and here I want to add that class. So that will be our class. And after that, which field, both two of this field you want to create that relation. I want to create that relation in our user table. Into the user table, that is actually ID. So this ID will be matched with our this categories table, this user ID, right? So here you have to add both of this. So I add that ID. So one will be as an ID, and here it will be create that relation with our another one. Another one will be as a user underscore ID, right friends? So I simply added both of these, our table field as the ID and then user ID. And also I get all the data. And display that things in our with the controller, right? So now open our controller. So I have already created one of the controller as a category controller, and into the category controller here you can see that is our Eloquent ORM, and that is our another one. So that is our query builder, right? So right now I want to first of all work with the Eloquent ORM for the reasons here in our database. That means this model will be needed. So right now I want to actually make it as a comment out. So that is actually our query builder. So now I want to open our this Eloquent ORM, right? So with this Eloquent ORM, I will pass this data. There is a categories, the categories model. So from to the category model, there is a latest all the data, and that is our pageination, which I have already discussed about that things with you, friend. So right now I get all the data from our categories, and here I take that things with this variable, and after that I compact it. That means here I pass the data in our index.html page, right? So that is our index.html. Like if you go to that is our view, and there is a category, and that is our index.html, right? So here I simply get all the data and visible it on here. So now if you want to visible it, so you can actually visible it with using that user. So here I have created that method name, our method name as a user. So now with this user, we can actually access our this ID field. That means this user table field. So now I want to use that user. So here we don't need this. I want to use that user, and with this user I want to access our field name. That means I want to display our this name. Okay, that means this name. So now I want to add this our field name. Our field name will be as a name. Perfect. So that's all you have to do. Now let's check this out. Now if you click as a save all, I click as a save all, and now if you go your site, and now if you refresh it, yes, you can see, friend, now it's perfectly updated. So that is the all that user. That means this Kazi is visible, right? If you go to our user, and into the user here, you can see there is a ID1 is our Kazi, okay, and ID2 is for the Aryan. So if you go to our categories, and here if you want to change it, like I change it and make this as a 2, now click as a surf, and now you can see that is ID2. So now it should be visible for our man's item. That too should be visible as a 2, right? So now let's check this out. If you now click as a, that means that is actually our man's fashion. And now if you click as a refresh, yes, you can see that is actually a man's item. So man's item is now become changed, and now it's become showing as a Aryan. Okay, friend, I hope it's very much clear to you. If you go to that our second page, and to the second page here, you can see everything is now perfectly displayed. So here I create one of the relation as a one-to-one relation with our categories table to our user table, and here I match two of this field as a ID will be matched with our this categories table user ID, and when it should be matched, I get this name. Okay, that means this table user table name. So here if you working with this Eloquent ORM, then you can actually work with this. You have to work into the model area. That means in your category model, here I have created one of the method, and then I return, and with this has one, and I simply loaded two of this field. Okay, so that's how you can actually create that relation both of this table, and you can get this data, and here I visible it with our user and then our field name. I hope it's very much clear to you, friend. So in our next video, I want to do the same things. I want to do the same things with using our query builder. So here I have used that Eloquent ORM. So how can do the same? That means how can create that relationship with two of this table with using that query builder. In our next video, I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.